This is a video looking at the endocrine system. So the endocrine system is basically a system responsible for sending chemical messages around the body. In other words, hormones. So hormones. The word hormone is a pretty familiar word, I'm sure. They're very important for regulating different biological processes in the body. Let's say things like managing water intake, blood pressure, your body's growth, reproduction, etc., etc. And there's something like over 50 hormones in the human body, each with a specific function. So they're chemical messages, and these messages are released by what are called glands around the body. There's so many different types of glands. In Year 9 science, you're not required to know all of them, but it's just nice to know where they are around the body, the different types of, the main important ones, I should say, and what they do. So I'll start from the top down to the bottom. So I'll start in the brain. So let's say that's the brain there. That's a side view of the brain, let's say. Towards the center, there's a gland. It's a tiny gland. It's called the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland releases what's known as, one of the hormones, I should say, that the pituitary gland releases is called growth hormone, also known as GH. This is just one of the hormones released. And the pituitary gland is very important because it's also known as the master gland. Okay, it oversees the other glands in the body. And it's really important particularly throughout childhood, in terms of physical development, also throughout the rest of your life in terms of maintaining tissue and organ structure and function. And near the pituitary gland, you've also got another gland called the pineal gland. The reason why it's called pineal, because it looks a bit like a pine cone. I don't know if you've seen a pine cone before, but they come off trees, and sometimes find them along the beach. Pine trees, that's where you typically find them. It looks like a pine cone. This gland is important because it releases melatonin. I'm sure you've heard of this before. Melatonin is also known as the day-night hormone. Okay, it helps regulate your sleep patterns. Okay, you might know people who take melatonin supplements, okay, to help them with sleep. So it helps regulate your sleep patterns. That's the pineal gland. Let's now work our way down into the throat. So for those of us like me who have got an Adam's apple, a protrusion coming out of the throat, right on top of that you've got what's called the thyroid, sort of shaped like a butterfly. It's a butterfly shape, thyroid gland. And this gland releases thyroxine, hormone thyroxine, and this controls metabolism, helps regulate metabolism. And metabolism is basically the process of changing food into energy for the body cells to use. People with thyroid issues, people who take thyroid medication, who take thyroxine, tend to be sort of chunkier a bit. And that's due to excess accumulation of salt and water in the body by people. Going down to the chest, you've got a gland. It's called the thymus. So right behind the sternum, the sternum is basically like the center of the chest. It's like a bone between the lungs. If you feel that bone, it's not really a hole, but it's sort of like a dip in the chest, in the mid-chest. It's called the thymus. And it releases thymosin. Thymosin is important for the release of specialized white blood cells called T cells, okay, which help fight off infection and viruses. So that's the thymus. So going down further, so behind your stomach, there's this almost L-shaped organ gland, I should say, called the pancreas. And the pancreas releases the hormone insulin. Insulin's a common hormone. It's really important because it's responsible for blood sugar regulation. Okay, many people, I'm sure, throughout society friends or family that are close to you, they probably have insulin problems. So they take things like they take insulin pens, so they're sort of like an EpiPen, I should say, and they just inject insulin into their bodies. And then below that, so the pancreas is above your abdomen, right on top of your kidneys. So with the kidneys, you've got two glands sitting on top called the adrenal glands. You can probably guess what type of hormones released by the adrenal glands. Adrenaline, okay, also known as the flight or fight hormone. In other words, if you're faced with, let's say, a grizzly bear, there are two options. You either fight it off or take off, right, run away. Okay, it's responsible for giving you the sensation, this sort of hyper sensation of increased blood pressure, increased blood flow, increased heart rate. So when you're riding on a roller coaster as well, that's the same feeling you get. Okay, adrenaline. Now for males and females, I want to start with males. So for males, you've got the testes. Okay, two oval-shaped organs or glands, I should say. So testes, also known as testicles, and these release testosterone. Okay, testosterone is a hormone responsible for giving male-like characteristics. The body structure, the deep voice, all that sort of stuff. Hair as well, excess hair. And then in females, you've got oval-shaped organs, glands called ovaries, and these actually release two hormones called estrogen and progesterone, responsible for giving female-like characteristics, of course. Also helping with the uterus, the womb as well, baby development to take place. So these are pretty much the main glands in the human body, making up the endocrine system.